Good afternoon, Tom Johnson, along with our mayor, Alex Rounaghi. Alex, nice to see you.
Great to be with you, Tom.
I'm going to take the liberty to say we missed everybody last week.
We did.
We, it's always nice during the summer maybe to take a week and put our feet up and just take a deep breath. And that was one of the reasons. The real reason is the guy that's behind this show. Uh, he took some time off, and we can't do it without him. So he's that important. Gerald La Madrid, a lot of people may know him, but he's instrumental in putting this together. And anyway, but it's good to see you again. Gosh, a lot has happened
A lot has
in
happened.
that
We had
week.
a big council meeting and then Coastal Commission hearing last week. So we
Well,
have a very busy week.
let's start with the Coastal Commission because
Yes.
the city was moving ahead with the fire station. They were moving ahead with the promenade on Forest, and all of a sudden, the group in town that opposes a lot of stuff like that opposed these and appealed it to the Coastal Commission, appealed both of them. The Coastal Commission initially said that there was nothing substantial added on that would preclude the projects from moving forward.
Yep.
But that group, organized and sent a lot of letters in, asking the Coastal Commission to, change their mind, and these were some of the reasons and everything. But why don't you take us through that, and let's start with the promenade on Forest, and let's take us through that and
Yeah.
what happened and where we go from here.
Yeah. So just stepping back, big picture in the city of Laguna Beach, essentially the whole town is what's is part of the coastal boundaries, the coastal zone. And so what that means is that whenever you have any development, um, you need a coastal development permit. And we have a certified local coastal program, s- meaning that we can issue our coastal development permits for their circumstances where those issuances of coastal development permits can be appealed to the Coastal Commission. And the Coastal Commission basically is a two-step process when there's an appeal. Step one is there a substantial issue identified? And if there's a substantial issue identified, then it further continues the item and there's a full appeal hearing. And so with respect to the approval of the promenade, the coastal development permit promenade and the coastal development permit for the Fire Station 4 in South Laguna, the first one in 55 years, both of those coastal development permits were appealed to the Commission. And the staff recommendation on both those items was basically that there's no substantial issue, which, essentially ends the process, assuming that the commission votes that way. And so on Friday, we heard both of those appeals, and our city manager, our mayor pro tem, and council member Kemp, they drove up to Calabasas. I participated via Zoom, and we'll start with the promenade. So on that one, Mayor pro tem Oriel provided the remarks for the city, and he basically, articulated the case for the promenade about how, this is basically about creating a gathering space for our community and how issue impacts on parking would be mitigated from the fact that we have the library parking lot, which now is going to be able to be, which when the city took it over from the county, is able to be used for parking, and then also the fact that we have all of our studies that supported that from our occupancy studies, and then further just the fact that we have our world-class public transportation system via the trolleys and the local on-demand. And I think those arguments clearly resonated with the Coastal Commission. It was a unanimous approval, or maybe a unanimous decision to basically find that there was no substantial issue, meaning that the appeal would be done. And so that is going to move forward. And the next step with respect to the promenade is we should have a final design contract at our meeting in September, I think on the 23rd. And then we'll go out for bid. And the goal is to basically start construction, right after January 1, 2026. So very successful outcome. The other item that was
Hey, hang
appealed.
on, before you go on to the
Okay.
second one, let me just
Yeah.
ask you a question.
Go
So
ahead.
in that September meeting, so when that idea comes up for final design and everything,
Yeah.
so you're mayor, you're running the meeting. The meeting can go in one of two directions, in my estimation. It can be a meeting about new design and what people like and what people don't like and all of that, or it can be kind of a reversal back to the complaints that have happened in the past. How do you, as mayor, keep that out of that discussion, or will you?
Well, I think people can talk about whatever they want to talk about, but really, when you do a project like this, you're always going to have a conceptual design first, and then you're going to have a final design that is going to get into the more granular details. And so, I mean, I think the intent is it's really more of a procedural kind of contracting issue as opposed to a design issue, because all the design issues were addressed with respect to the conceptual design. And I'm sure people have a right to comment however they want to, but really the question before the council at that point will be about moving forward with this specific contract, really not about the high level questions of should we have a promenade or not. But again, people are free to, talk about it in any way that they want to talk about it within the confines of the agenda items. So think that answers your question that people can talk about it however they want to talk about it, but really it's more of a contracting issue at this point as we move forward with the next steps of building this.
Okay, that answers it. So let's move on to the fire station.
Yeah, so the fire station that was also appealed to the Coastal Commission, and the staff recommendation was no substantial issue. I think in many respects this was an easier item because it just a lot of the allegations in that appeal were really baseless, and that was what the staff recommendation also found. And so I presented on that item and talked about a lot of the complaints were there's one complaint around like public parking because it'll get rid of a couple of public parking spaces, but ironically the design that was suggested by the appellants would actually lose more public parking spaces because it would have had the access in a way that would actually create more of an impact. And then, there were, ideas about lack of public input, but there were, I think, a lot of public input involved in this. And I mean, and then finally, the main argument that I think I made was one of public safety, where we have a fire station. It's been more than 55 years since we built a fire station in this community. The current fire station is not seismically sound, and this is just a clear need that we need to get this moving forward and not have further delays. And so, Coastal Commission agreed. They didn't really had minimal comment on this item aside from finding a substantial issue. And then, so the next step will be working with the resident design group, which includes Morris Skandarian, some of our planning commissioners and public works, do one final consultation with the planning commission on landscaping, color palette, and surface issues. And in the meantime, the architect is finalizing the construction plans, and so we are hoping to go out to bid in a few months. And in the meantime, the dental office, which is currently on site and which is vacant, that could be demoed as soon as September. So the goal is to keep this moving forward and build our first fire station in more than 55 years, which is very exciting, I think, for the community and just from a public safety perspective for our whole town.
I'll just throw this out. I do have a sledgehammer. I'm happy to help with one of the walls if you need me. So
What?
call.
Okay, that's good to know.
No,
We
but
we can throw
congratulations. I
you
know
in the
you
mix for the
guys
bid.
have worked hard on this. It's not something that you've taken lightly. It's been obvious to me watching, from a short distance away. And so kudos to you. Kudos to Mark and Sue for, kind of heading that effort up and everything. But I got to go back to one thing. We're so fortunate. I've said this a number of times, and you have agreed or said it yourself. We're so lucky to have the city manager that we have. I read the
We
letter
are.
to the Coastal Commission. I read the detailed analysis from Dave Kiff, city manager, and it's I don't want to say it's priceless because I don't want Dave coming back to you and saying, you got to pay me two or three times the salary you're paying me. Uh, you know, he is very valuable to this community, and it's kind of funny right now in our neighboring city from which he served prior to coming down here, um,
Yeah.
Newport Beach. They are now going through their own search, and I keep telling them, what you guys need is you guys need a Dave Kiff, and
Well, yeah, and I think they're going with Simone, their assistant city manager,
yes, no, they're going
right?
with Simone.
Yeah.
Simone's great.
Yep.
Simone's great, but I'm just saying when you talk about the things with Dave Kiff just brings so much to the table. I say it sort of tongue in cheek. I'm a total supporter of Simone Georges,
Yeah.
who's going to do the take over the city manager job. But I kind of more tongue in cheek saying boy, the guy that's proven himself is Dave Kiff down in Laguna Beach took a really rocky situation and straightened it out. So,
Well,
and
and I totally agree with, I mean, the fact that the coastal, I think one of the key ways to work with the coastal commission is to involve their staff early in the process, and that's what we did on both the coastal development permits for the fire station and the promenade. And I think that really you kind of saw the benefit of that when and how they deliberated, because there weren't really any surprises that came up. They understood the issues and they were briefed on it from the beginning, and that's I think how you collaboratively work through these issues and have a successful relationship with the Coastal Commission, which, as you know, has a huge impact on all of our land use decisions in the city of Laguna Beach. So yeah, another reminder of why it's important to have a good city manager.
perfect. So, one other big issue that's getting ready to take place in town is the parking town hall meeting, basically
Correct.
focusing on South Laguna.
Yes.
Anytime you put parking before a town hall meeting, it gets people involved and interested. So,
Yes.
get through what's going on with that. When is it? What's the goal? And where are we going from here?
Yeah, so one of the big issues that we always hear about is the need to basically figure out more ways to have the impact of visitors mitigated by ways that they are paying for. And the best way to do that is through parking meters, right? Because residents have a sticker and but the visitors don't have a sticker, so they're able to pay for the parking meters. And as I was saying with respect to the role of the Coastal Commission on the previous items that we discussed, we have a 5-year coastal development permit related to our parking rates, and we're always trying to keep increasing that within the confines of the Coastal Act. And so, so our goal is to basically add those parking meters in South Laguna on PCH because that creates a revenue base that allows us to, put that money back into the community and focus on how we can mitigate the impact of visitors. And so that will be part of this. That's basically the goal of this town hall is just to discuss parking related issues with respect to potential paid parking in South Laguna and thinking about the next 5 years of our coastal development permit with respect to paid parking. Because as I said earlier, our goal is to target that 85% occupancy, and so the idea is that you get there by charging more money when you're in those peak occupancy times. And that creates an incentive for people to go and park, off-site and take the trolley into town and ultimately is a win for our residents. So that's the subject of our this upcoming town hall meeting on Wednesday, August 27th from 4 to 6.
Very good. As far as parking goes, I was down in Laguna this morning for a meeting in downtown, and like everything else, I was looking for a place to park. It's easy when you get down there, at 8:30 because
Yeah.
you can go to Forest and pull in a lot of spots and things like that. But this was more of a midday meeting. A lot of the parking lots were either filling up or filled up. I was cruising around, and then I had realized I found an open spot and I parked in the spot and I got out to put money in the meter after sitting in the car for about 10 minutes and realized I was in a green zone. So I
Oh,
had to move. So then I was looking again and, I found one, but, I got to tell you, when you're kind of panicked like that, looking for a place quickly, I was fairly impressed with all the public parking. I mean, they're not huge lots, but there's just a number of them as you drive down, near what will be the promenade on Forest. There's a lot of places to pull in and park. I'm not saying there's something always available, but there has been some stuff done that's been good in the past. Anyway, hot weather is going to continue out there. I threw the top
yeah.
on in my car today, and it was fun cruising around down there. And I know you're a guy that likes to find the beach on the weekend, so get out there and enjoy
Yep.
it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Tom. Always a pleasure.
Okay, thanks for all you do, and congratulations to the city to be able to move forward on two phenomenal projects. Take care.
Thank you.